Welcome to Redundant Opinions, where the thing you need most on the internet is another two straight white guys thinking that they're right about the world. Welcome back, or welcome if you haven't watched us before. My name is Kochie. This here's Cami. No, down somewhere. He's there. And today we're going to be talking about the last episode's comments from you wonderful community, Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony not being part of E3, Hogwarts Legacy breaking Twitch records, and some shitty takes for people who like to buy microphones. If you find yourself coming back and on the regular and you want to see more of our content, make sure you click on subscribe. And if you like our content, click on the like button and subscribe to Cami too, because he's pretty cool. How you going, Cami?
I'm alive, mate, which didn't feel like at this point. No, I'm good. It's been a busy week. Lots going on, as we're going to discuss here. The world is turbulent online at the moment. I find like everyone like us has an opinion. And
not allowed to have those. Yeah.
No, you're not anymore. No, like run. Yeah, but it's been a week, a busy one. But you know, we're still rolling on through. Conventions are coming up, which we're excited about.
Yes.
I mean, more and more drinking. I feel like we say this every episode.
Part of a theme.
PAX Oz Date's got announced too. That happened.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we totally forgot about that too. Anyway.
Yes.
PAX Oz Date's got announced too, so that gave me my serotonin. How about yourself?
Yeah, no, I think that definitely helps as well. Yeah, you're a little bit crunchy this morning after going out. I went on Friday night as well to see concerts and stuff, and it's just like
crunchy boys.
That's what the weekend's for. It's to have fun. I think that's a good point actually. Like PAX dates got announced, so the 6th to the 8th of October, 2023. If you haven't already looked in your calendar, if you're looking at going, book in shit as early as possible because hotels, Airbnbs, flights will go up in price once they realize that these events are on at specific dates. They'll just go up because they can.
I'm already looking.
Before that, we've got TGX coming up, which will be 11th to 12th of March.
Yep.
And that'll be in Melbourne. And then at the end of April, there's DreamHack Melbourne, which is at the end of April. So, yeah.
And we're still thinking about that one out.
That one I'm thinking about. I want to go, and I think it should be plausible. Again, because it's a 3-day expo for that one, I'm kind of dubious into how much time I can actually take off because work and life and all that fun stuff. But we'll see.
I'm the same. But yeah, we're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just more time to do things. Unfortunately, with you where you are and me where I am, it's like, well, we don't get events. Every time we have a gaming event or something, it's got to be we're flying to Melbourne or flying to Sydney doesn't really have anything.
Oh, Sydney doesn't get anything anymore. It used to be the EB Expo, but that
EBX or I am Sydney or whatever it was, but now it's just fuck you.
Everyone down to Melbourne.
Before we get into some of the topics, we had an interesting pickup from Zombies Love Bacon in the comments for the last episode when we talked about Kick, and now they've got this new advertising strategy with an interesting company, I guess. I don't know how it relates.
A partner, I would say.
Partnership, I guess. Sponsorship deal, maybe.
Because it's a very it's one that sort of caught me by surprise as well. The long and short of it being that the Alfa Romeo F1 team have formed a collaboration. Basically, Kick's branding will prominently be featured on the team's C43 vehicle for a few races. So it's going to give visibility. It's basically a livery sponsor. See it on motorsport cars every year. You know, there'll be an announcement of seasonal or sometimes season. Like, so when I say seasonal, I mean like a few races here and there, or a season-wide sponsorship on the vehicle directly, because obviously that's where the cameras are pointing.
It's a little sticker somewhere or something that's apparently worth a lot of money. I don't really know.
You'd be surprised how these teams are funded a lot of the time. But so to see that happening, it does create some very interesting caveats, I feel. Kick. Or not caveats, but it creates a sense of legitimacy behind the streaming service in a way.
To a degree, yeah.
And being gambling focused website, quite frankly, it's very much in their realm to be in the sporting industry and the motorsport industry where betting is quite prominent. Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
You're going to start betting on F1 races on Kick or something like that, waiting for the next streaming thing to come through.
Become the what is it? Become the next really lean into the Kick brand, right? Become a betting streamer betting for the Kick car to win its race.
Running like what's the game, the Motorsport Manager or whatever they are. Just make sure you manage the Alfa Romeo Kick team.
Yep, exactly.
But it's interesting. It's just a different avenue for them to support their brand. But as you said, it does legitimize it a little bit, I think. But it's still, we've already talked, I think, Kick to death a little bit. We've kicked the horse, as it were, already enough. But it's always good. It was good to. It's good to bring up. So thanks, Zombies, for that one. But just going down a rabbit hole for that one. So the Alfa Romeo F1 team and Kick formed a collaboration. I got there.
Yep.
Kick may also host interactive streams featuring Alfa Romeo's drivers to improve the viewing experience.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what they'd be doing. Is it like a live Q&A? Would they be driving in like a sim rig, steering wheel?
Yeah, doing some online racing instead.
Yeah.
That'd be actually kind of cool. I give them credit there. That'd be cool. See,
yeah,
your real F1 racers jumping on a sim, like that's an alright feature.
I think so. I mean, we've played with the sim races and stuff at the different expos and stuff. I thought that were pretty cool.
They're cool as hell. I love it. If I had the money and the space, I would have a sim. Sure. And you would never see me again.
Yeah, it's just really like super decked out ones that have like the motion thing as well, like they move as the car feels the G-force and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One thing that does, and we were talking about this briefly before the pod actually kicked off here today, because there's always, like, as we've discussed, a lot of sort of issues with Kick in the sense of their moderation. There's a lot of restreaming of content that really shouldn't be restreamed, live sporting events, that sort of thing on there. And I imagine once the F1 kicks back up, that's going to get restreamed on that platform. So what it makes me wonder is, through this deal, is it going to put a bit more of a target on Kick's back if they see that one of their prominent sponsors is actually facilitating the theft of content? Like,
potentially.
Yeah, it could be an interesting development on that front, but that's highly speculative from me, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Stake that does have like NBA games and stuff on its streaming service, which I guess is allowed because it's their own service, but there's no official documentation on that. So it's just, they haven't been banned yet. That's the only thing. But, if it's something that they've got an advertising deal, but then also, just providing F1 content there as well, it's like, well, does that mean that it's okay? And it's like, well, no, because there's other licensing deals depending on your region as well. So
yeah, and exclusivity deals are huge in or not just motorsport, but sport in general. You've got Fox, ESPN, KO, which I think is a Fox, but anyway, like these guys pay multi-billion-dollar deals in order to get these exclusivity rights to stream the content. So, sort of taking an opportunity to steal that, and that huge repercussion.
Yeah, but it's a beta, guys. It has not out yet. It's a beta. It's fine.
Beta test a live service. Oh wait.
Yeah, there's people on there. Trainwreck is on there. He's got 10,000 views on there. It's like, yep, beta, guys. It's beta. I guess when we're kind of moving on the exclusivity deals and whatnot, we've got kind of a lot of the big gaming brands and stuff going into more exclusivity because they've got Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo running out of E3, which I guess was inevitable.
Yeah. I think because E3 was always, I think before when streaming was around, but with the diversification of everyone wanting to have their own piece of the pie, their own stream, if you will, they want to control the show from go to woe. They want to run it because let's be real, with E3 there was a show run time, and everyone wanted a certain slot in the day because different prime times are a thing, and obviously not everyone could have it. So what do you do instead? Well, you either run a stream, and if you happen to coincide with somebody else, you'll get the prime time viewing.
Yep.
Because
It's
yeah,
still going to be
I
at 2 a.m. for us anyway. It's just,
yeah,
it sucks for Australians regardless.
yeah. I still remember staying up for some conference back in the day.
It was so much
Bethesda,
fun.
it was great. Bethesda and Fallout 4 all those years ago. I definitely
Yeah.
good time. But yeah, it's interesting to see the market splitting off like this, isn't it?
I think so. Like, it was about the hype as everyone kind of being there in the expo and seeing everything. It was just another expo which you could go to see PR, you could see the latest games and have that sense of community. But it is kind of going away. Like, you've got your live chats, you've got, I guess you can live tweet, you know, your reactions to certain events with the hashtags. But I think, and then I guess that's kind of it. But on another side of things, it's like, well, what else does E3 have? And then are they going to be at PAX? We said last year, you know, are there going to be other gaming expos? You know, we were like, oh, both of us, I think we're both like, where the fuck is AAA?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they weren't there.
They weren't there, and you could feel that hole there.
And yeah, I think like this lacking sense of person community and this lacking interest. And look, and actually this comes back to my point. So obviously COVID happened, and you know that really took away a lot of the opportunity that we had to meet in such a manner. So it's possible that these AAA devs are slowly coming back to that space. Maybe have lost that a bit on themselves since everything went down. But
Maybe.
yeah, it's a shame to see because, like, you know, E3 was always about like the gaming media, the public, all that together. And I'd never been, but it was all about everyone going together to catch up on cool games.
Yeah.
Announcements then and there. There was something to it. I feel has been lost a little bit, like all this diversification. Like, you know, we get these like what happened to Nintendo
Correct.
X? Nintendo, whatever they had.
The latest Direct, yeah. They have like
Nintendo Direct, yeah, that's right.
Which I think they were probably the first people, obviously, to do it. Like, they don't go to E3 or whatever.
No.
They'll just do a translated live presentation, and then that's kind of it, you know? And I guess they also kind of followed in Nintendo's footsteps there because, one, it's cheaper.
Yes.
And two, it's curated. So you don't have to have... I remember seeing a lot of... so back in the day when Xbox or Sony was on the floor, and it's like, all right, you can't record anything. And people would have like little cameras like here and just be like, you know, I'm recording the footage. It's exclusive footage to be leaked out. Haha, look at all the bugs.
Yeah,
you know, the community ruins it for themselves is all I'm saying. Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. It's an unfortunate realm that we sit in on that one. So yeah, it's a shame to see everyone stepping out from E3. And maybe we're entering a world where E3 just doesn't.
Yeah, potentially. And I think a lot of people, they get a lot out of it, I think, but also like from the games journalism side, it is such a big event that it feels just like it is exhausting to go over there. It's expensive, especially for Australians, you know, if you are going over there, especially nowadays. It's just easier to sit in your pajamas, just tweet or write out an article about something, and then just email PR people for stuff. So I can understand that. But yeah, I think my own selfish fear, I guess, is just that, you know, for the smaller communities, for places like PAX, in the world of communities, or Gamescom even, that's slightly smaller over in Germany. You know, are they going to come here? Because at least PAX has other things. Like, you could feel the whole of the big AAA guys. But it had so many other things else to do, so that did help.
Yeah, exactly. It was very much a catch-22. I actually ran into a friend of mine recently, and they had gone to PAX, and they particularly wasn't that good because they had come from the perspective of wanting to see the game, wanting to play the game. They couldn't because nothing showed up. So
you know, and Overwatch 2 and COD were coming out at the time, and you know, even just things like potentially coming from Bethesda, you know, different demos for things. It's just, you know, Sony had a bunch of stuff coming up.
Ubisoft didn't even show.
Harry Potter, you know.
Oh yeah, where the fuck was Harry Potter? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's a shame. It's a shame to see these, and I'm hoping this doesn't represent a trend in the convention industry for games, because it's so important, and it does give these communities an opportunity to come together and to do their thing. But if we're to lose the backing of the AAA developers process, then that's a big gap that's going to alienate quite a portion of that community who want to play games with their mates on a convention show floor. It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's one of those things, especially like, again, like with us, we're kind of lucky because we don't necessarily go to PAX for PAX, but there are a lot of people who do, you know,
Yeah.
so, and they want to go and see the latest games, and whether it was EB Expo or whatever it was, there's masses that flock there to sit there and play the latest games. They see the trailers, they see, you know, think hype online, they're in communities that really love this game, they really want to play it, and then they just don't get a chance until the game comes out.
Yeah, which is, you know, if you've spent $200 on a ticket, you're like, well,
I guess that's the other thing too, right?
Yeah,
like, the shit's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily get that too much because we often get media and creator passes, which, thank you, Penny Arcade.
Much appreciated. Yep.
Much appreciated. So yeah, like that. I guess that perspective is sometimes lost on me because I haven't had to pay for a pack. I'm in a lucky enough position where I'm able to go as a creator. So yeah, I can imagine even from that perspective, you don't always know what for before you pay.
Yep.
In fact, more often than not, you're not. So it's a very I can see why it would be such a frustrating situation. So again, looping back, I'm really hoping that in the long run, this doesn't represent a trend that sees this industry yet to embrace these in-person conventions.
I think I'm trying to remember, this might be completely wrong, but I thought there was like a separation between the consumer days and the business days for E3.
Honestly,
previously, there's something I probably have to Google quickly, but I think there was something consumer and business. Because of that exact issue of like the businesses and the PR people and stuff want to get in and talk to journalists and content creators and stuff like that, but like I don't want to say the unwashed masses, but the unwashed masses are kind of in there as well, and it just creates it's like a like a business conference essentially, like different businesses, I don't know, electrical companies, gambling companies, whatever, they have conventions that are for the businesses, like the businesses that are going to invest in each other and help promote certain products and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But E3 doesn't, and I guess a lot of gaming areas don't have that because it's like communities for the people. You know, I'm sure they have different meetings and different emails and chats and calls and stuff for them to promote brands and stuff and the business side of things, but they don't really have that very internal only business side of things.
No, and it's weird because PAX in Australia in particular tries to be an amalgamation of the two because the only con we get at that scale. So you've got business and pleasure sort of really intermixed in one weekend and creating this rambunctious outcome between all the masses that's hard to manage at times. So,
all the sweaty nerds. Yeah, there's just some sweaty nerds are in suits this time. Yeah. Yes, I was right.
And some know to wear deodorant too.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Just go around spraying people. Take a shower.
It's like a pesticide, but for gamers. Deodorant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, so I was right. My memory is right. So they would run from June 13th to June 16th because Reed Pop's taking it over as of September last year.
For E3.
For E3. So E3 2023 was taken over by Reed Pop. And their first 2 days would be reserved exclusively for businesses. The third day will be businesses and consumers, and the final day is just consumers. So just, unwashed masses.
Yeah, right.
So they also said one half of the LA Convention Center would be entirely dedicated to business with quieter, more comfortable booths and areas to network.
Right, okay. E3 sorry, Reed Pop are busy. They run PAX, they run C2E2, they run EGX. They run a lot. So take on board that as well. They run the Star Wars celebration. Significant. Take them to then add E3 onto there. Wow.
Yeah, and not they also run different gaming websites as well. They own them as well. They own the Gamer Network, not to confuse with the Gamer Network Co. Just making sure it's the only time I'll bring it up. But that Gamer Network owns it runs websites like Eurogamer, GameIndustry.biz, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun. You know, so they have their hands in a lot of pies in terms of the gaming community, I think.
Yeah. Not wrong.
So I can understand the idea to shift to that more business sense, but maybe the businesses are like, well, where's the investment for us? I guess like a lot of Sony and Xbox, sorry, Microsoft, Nintendo, they're not necessarily selling anything there.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's an investment, right? So there's investment, and then they hope that it's a return on investment later
down the line. Yeah, exactly.
When people play the games. But nowadays, everything's so accessible. You could just make a trailer or have pay streamers to stream the game early. Way cheaper than having to do things because you can get more eyes on it much easier.
Yeah, exactly. You aren't bound by physical limitation being able to show up. So yeah, I take your point. And even setting up a booth, as you said, expensive shit.
Yeah. At least with indies and stuff, like again, bouncing back between the two, like E3 doesn't really have the indie side of things because it is business and a lot of those big companies are there. But like something like PAX has the indie section. But even then, those booths, if they're not sponsored by something or win a competition or whatever, those booths are thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And when you're, two guys in a garage, that's a lot of money. But the hope is that you're going to get 40,000 eyes on it, and say 1% of them buy your $20 game. Like, cool.
Yeah. You've made a return on investment.
You've made your returns. So it's better a lot from there. But I think with those massive booths, it's a very different thing for those big AAA companies.
Yeah, exactly. Not wrong. Very interesting stuff.
We did mention, 2023 was going to be the year the AAAs would come back to PAX, but
maybe not. Maybe not. Interesting to see what the exhibitor list looks like this year, but I would love to be proven wrong on that. I would like to come back. But yeah, anyway, we'll I guess find out in time. Speaking of a return on investment,
you got him. Yes,
we've done it. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah,
it broke a Twitch record this week. I'm pretty sure most single player game.
Yes.
Yeah, most live viewers for a single player game ever on the platform, despite the boycott. Crazy. Crazy stuff. We all knew that there was going to be a and we discussed this last week, so we won't get to it. We knew there was a lot of controversy surrounding this game.
Yes.
And it didn't work.
No.
In fact, I think it did the opposite. In fact, I think it drew even more eyes.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened. That just we had people massive streamers streaming it, and that was just one of the things.
I'm just gonna grab out the Steam charts. Holy shit. On Steam alone, this game cracked 807,000 concurrent players.
Yep.
That gives it the third most viewed. It's the third most played play game of all time.
Bunch of bigots. Yeah.
And all of them are transphobes.
That's it. We're demonetized. That's it. We said the word.
We're good. Yep. It's insane. Like that is such, and I think you and I kind of saw that coming. We knew that this was only going to blow the game up. And look, the game is functionally good apparently.
I think there was some frame drop performance issues on PC. Once you got into kind of the bigger areas, but apart from that, and then that'll be fixed in patches and whatnot. I did feel it was quite slow. I was watching streamers.
Are you watching streamers?
I was watching streamers play it, so I hadn't actually had time to play it myself. But from what I saw, I think it might have been possibly because the people I were watching were very invested in the world, so they were taking their very sweet ass time getting places.
Sure,
And
yeah.
for me, I'm like, they were like sitting there looking at the teacups in the room, being like, "Oh my god, there's so much detail in these dormitories," and I'm like, "Can you move on to the next mission, please?
Can you play the game?
Can you play the fucking game?"
I had a mate telling me last night that he had spent 5 hours at Hogwarts Castle and then proceeded to eventually move out and
Play the goddamn game. Yeah.
He saw the open world map and then went, "Holy fuck, I just spent 5 hours in Hogwarts Legacy Castle and now I've got all of this to look." So yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The game's also got a 93% positive review rating on Steam right now. Look. Crazy.
And that's the thing, right? All of this becomes fuel regardless of what lens you look at it through. Either
exactly.
It's a good game, therefore it's rated highly, or it's rated highly because all the bigots and all those people are liking it on purpose to, stick it to the people who are boycotting it,
Exactly.
Or it's this problem is way more massive than we ever thought it was because all these people like this video game, which means they support the views, which means you can take all different lenses to look at that little piece of data.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think the main people that are hurt from it really are those small streamers who have small communities that have basically lost friends over something like this as well. We've got those. There was you mentioned a site or something dedicated to it, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw it earlier in the week. Earlier in the week, or maybe last week, one of the two. Someone had built a website where you could put someone's Twitch username into a search bar, and the website was, "Have they streamed that wizarding game?"
That wizarding game, right? Okay.
Yeah, I know. It felt a little. I'm not gonna say that.
Dickish, targeted. Pick your pick.
Precious. But yeah, and it would tell you whether or not they'd streamed the game. So you could, obviously, there were people who were using it to distance themselves from streamers who were playing the game, but there was also people means to witch hunt streamers,
right,
and pick them out from the crowd and go, yep, I'm going to target you directly, which I just thought wasn't on, like, because obviously, a lot of the narrative surrounding this game is that it views bigotry. It's it's a game that supports anti-Semitic views. It's a transphobic game.
Oh, it just explodes out. It's not just one thing. It's just like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the goblin anti-Semitic stuff, like that I heard.
Joining threads upon joining threads.
Yeah, exactly. And I've forgotten my original point. Hang on. Oh my god, I've just totally blanked.
He just blanked.
I've just blue screened IRL. God damn it!
I'm gonna put like a little thinking wheel on your head, just in editing.
Give me the dial-up sound, please. Yes.
Cami is experiencing an error and needs to close. Just.
I'm out. All right, boys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out. I'm just gonna run this now.
Amazing.
So can you hang on, where was I? I was
website created for targeting for those people who are streaming the game.
That's right. Yeah. No, I'm back on it now.
Yeah.
So you have this website that's created and is being used with malicious intent, and the narrative behind boycotting the game has been, well, this is a game that spews anti-Semitism, transphobic stuff like that, and that you feel targeted by someone playing the game. It's very much, in my mind, it's like trying to make two wrongs make a right. Like trying to turn someone else into the victim as a result of them making the decision to play the game, which I don't agree with. It's just being a dick at that point. And someone buying this game and wanting to play the game does not mean that and
it's a very small subset as well. It's the people who need to know and be on social media and also know about following the views, which of course they have to because that's part of the system. And like a lot of the defenses for it get conflated with a lot of different other terrible points as well.
Exactly.
And like we had different. I'm in different communities and stuff, and people just like to do the labeling and piss off, like they feel better about themselves. And, you know, I engage with those people. I have discussions and then they don't get anything back. And it's just like, that's the frustrating part, you know?
Yeah,
I know this is a frustration on a frustration that there's someone's been frustrated at something. And I think this is the third level of meta discussion that we're having here.
Yeah, you saw it in my community this week. Someone had arced up about it, and you know, and I was like, okay, we can have a conversation about this. And as soon as we rebutted, they left. Like, well, how am I meant to have a conversation that way? And I think I agree with you. That's what I think the biggest problem for me is the lacking ability to have a conversation. Because you know what I'm seeing a lot of online is people saying, well, we asked you to do this once, don't buy it. But like, you know,
and I haven't. Yeah,
I haven't either. But because you ask someone to do something doesn't mean they're immediately obligated to do it. And it's not a matter of them being a bad person. Like, you know, someone could ask me, you know, hey, I want you to sell your PlayStation 4, or sorry, your PlayStation 5, because, you know, a kid who is going through a rough time could probably use it more than you. You're right.
Which is
You're
true.
probably right.
But I'm still playing my games, and I'm going to give that kid the finger out the window while I do it.
Exactly. I want to play my fucking PlayStation. So it's like, you know, if someone in isolation is enjoying the game or is, you know, just streaming it to their community and having a good time, you going in there and trying to destroy that, and there's even people I'm going to another tangent here. People are now spoiling the game deliberately.
I did see that there was a meme, and yeah, I'm not gonna bring up the actual point, but it was like I think it was on a subreddit. I was just scrolling through r/all, and it was like this meme, and then you open up the meme, and at the end it's like blah blah for Harry Potter spoilers, and I was like, you fuckkead.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, you're not making a point. You're not standing up for something. You're just being a dick.
Yeah,
like. You're just being a royal dick.
Yep.
And tell you what, for those people who are going out and spoiling shit for Hogwarts Legacy, just remember it goes both ways. And I hope you have your next creative thing spoiled dramatically for you. So fuck.
Exactly.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's fine. I think that's just one of those things. It's just those, I don't know, the bad people on bad people. And I think it even goes as deep as with the advertisement side of things as well. So we had the thing that came out with the Twitch ambassador, who's meant to be the people that kind of shape the view of Twitch and like become, you know, head honchos for it, or like the faces of Twitch for their communities, which they're entitled to their own views and shape the things. I don't really know what they've done since they were initiated.
I've never heard of anything regarding an ambassador before this, but mind you, I also switched off in my own head in the sand.
That's true. I mean, I guess the problem there with Twitch, before we go into this other thing, is that it is very public. Like, we don't have too much YouTube drama because, one, a lot of those communities are very isolated in what they do, or they're like a few friends that make a gaming group. But YouTube kind of just shuts the fuck up and does its thing. Like, Twitch is very public and stuff, which I guess is good for, you know, publicity, but it's also can be very bad when they screw things up.
Yeah.
But to alleviate, they've got this ambassador program which has been around since 2019, I think.
It's been around a while. I don't again, it's so loose as to memory of how the program actually works.
But
yeah, there was that ambassador that came out, sort of said that she would be boycotting streaming on Twitch while a Hogwarts Legacy ad campaign was running. Which, I mean, you're entitled to do that if you want, but I guess my question remains, okay, are you now going to stop, you know, using Google AdSense or any Google AdSense enabled website?
It's about the platform where really they're only hurting themselves as well, because like they're stopping themselves from streaming, right? So the benefit is they make themselves feel better, but
exactly.
You know, I guess those people that do that as well finish up their subscriptions, move on to other people that are streaming, because unfortunately Twitch is that grind set of you need to be streaming every day. Or there's people that take 2 weeks off at the top of their game and they lose
come back to
$10,000 or whatever in that month or whatever it is. So
crazy stuff.
That kind of, it was based on an ad campaign as well, which I think is an interesting take because it's not the game being streamed, which is going out to way more people.
It's the very prospect of the game having exposure on the platform.
Yeah, which at the end of the day, they don't really have much control over. Like, I think a lot of streamers, like, you're on the Twitch platform. Yes, your community, your little bubble of community is something that you can control. Whoops. You can control. But outside of that, the platform runs how the platform runs. So you can't control that. Well, I'm guessing this person tried, but I mean, ultimately, people just watch someone else.
Being an ambassador, I can imagine there was a behind-the-scenes conversation about it. Well, at least that's what the rational.
Like, hope so. Yeah, talk to their partner manager or whatever, right?
Exactly. But obviously that didn't get anywhere, so they decided to take it public, which, all power to you to doing. But you have to remember when you sign the TOS stream on Twitch, you are signing that. Twitch is allowed to make any Twitch is allowed to make any decision it wants in regards to what advertisers. And again, I think like it's interesting. It is an interesting take because obviously the difference here is that obviously, if you don't want to stream the game, you don't. But if there's content from the game showing up in the first place on your channel outside of your control, I can see why you would take a problem with that if you are choosing to make your channel, I guess, what you call a safe space from this game content.
Yeah.
And I mean that is something that Twitch could probably look at doing in the future. I mean, YouTube has an ability where you can block certain advertisers from advertising on your channel.
That is cool. I think what that kind of conversation brought up was that kind of user voice thing, which I didn't really know was a thing because they posted a user voice thing, which basically feels like a change.org petition, but just for the particular platform. But the community can submit ideas for certain things, and it has all these different categories from Twitch Studio to ads to discoverability, browse categories to your own channel customization and things like that. A whole bunch of stuff. And I guess if they have a thing that is upvoted enough and has enough engagement, is a good enough idea, they may add it to the platform. I don't know. It's just free idea sourcing, essentially, free brainstorming.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which, being, as you said, a very public platform, that would make sense.
Yeah, but it really depends on what stuff they're actually doing. I know that they have been doing various changes to the platform, but I mean, I think the core issues there are still going to be problems, I think.
There.
Yeah. Yep. They're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like they have different programs. They've got this user voice thing, which again, don't know how much they do. They've got the Twitch. I mean, this is very ANZ as well, but Twitch ANZ grassroots as well with those programs to kind of push up and coming streamers, because we kind of are in a small, let's say, like a small demographic. If you're streaming at Australian prime time, it is almost one of the lowest one of the lowest viewed sections of Twitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it actually is.
Yeah.
I was
Americans are asleep, yo.
Americans are asleep. The Brits or British and Europeans are only just starting to wake up. I mean, I guess you've got your multicultural markets, so your Asian markets, but again, those are different more often than not. Speaking language.
Yeah, and usually a lot of our, I know, speak for a lot of my communities, I guess, that I'm in, it's English only.
Yep.
And usually that's just because we don't speak other languages. So as much as we'd like to communicate with you, it's like, well, then I've got to copy and paste and translate. That's what we need. User voice, auto-translate. There you go. Do it.
Yep, 100%.
For certain things. But I know for those who are unaware, if you're watching us outside of ANZ, the Australian New Zealand Twitch community has a grassroots program, which basically you can self-nominate, or you can nominate another streamer for, and they'll essentially get picked once every few months, and there'll be 5 or 6 content creators that'll get boosted up onto the Australian front page of the website.
Yeah, it's very much pretty sure it's a excuse me, like a quarterly rotation. And I think it's 2 weeks of being on the great growth opportunity. I applied multiple times, never made it. So that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not family friendly. I feel like a lot of the ones there that you'd have to be picked, you have to have a specific brand.
You most certainly do. And when because you're on the front page,
yeah, you're on the face of the website for those 2 weeks, essentially. So
100%, it's huge. So you've got to be on your best behavior, which honestly doesn't surprise me. But yeah, no, it's an excellent opportunity to really taking the Twitch side of things seriously. But you have to be. It's not. They don't just hand it out to 10 viewer Andys that swear their heads off 24/7.
Yeah.
On the path, you need to have you need to have a community built. You need to have a brand built. You need to be, according to some, you need to have an XLR mic. You need to very much be on the on the right track. Little bit of pre-warning there. Like
put a pin in that for later. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that you need to you need to be having a very solid crack at it out of the gate. You're not just gonna start streaming Fortnite on one day and then get into the grass on how it works.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like I wouldn't say guilty pleasure, but something I like to do is to go into the comments on those grassroots things when the announced people get announced, right? And every time I see it, I go and look at the Twitch channel, right? Because I want to see what Twitch is doing. And I've been doing this for years, pretty much. Like, because back when I was Twitch streaming, it was cool. I wanted to see. I was trying to push for that. And I was like, okay, well, should I apply? What's the point? Why not?
Market research. Yeah, market research.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, these guys are at like 50 average viewers, 60 average viewers. This guy's at 40, but he's got a really niche piece of content that he just needs eyes on, and then he will blow up. You know, this chick has a really engaging community, and she's doing this really cool thing. She's got a really good aesthetic. You know, their community stuff is really nice. And then, so those people and all the other nice people and friends of that person, like, oh my God, yes. Like, we've had from our Team OC team, we've had Zim Opti, who got on from on the grassroots, which super lovable dude.
Lovely bloke, amazing content as well. Dude knows what he's doing. He's like, and I think he even got featured on like the Sims ANZ.
He's doing stuff with Xbox now. Like he's doing he's doing lots of stuff. But you know, those things really helped him get to that point. But he's got a good brand, family-friendly brand, things like that. So every time we see those people, I go in the research for the most part, and I look at them, and you can see there's a trend, you know, for those types of brands, and there's a little bit of outliers here and there. Yeah. But the guilty pleasure is the comments of the people that go, I've applied 10 times, I've never got it, why do you hate me, Twitch? And then I get to look at those channels, and oh boy. Get the popcorn because it's fucking epic. You know, it's great.
It is a good ass time. It really is.
Yep.
Guilty. You know what? Not even a guilty pleasure here. I know what I'm doing and I'm proud of it. And I don't mean to be a dick because we all start somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But same time, you need to really, I think, self-reflect on where you are and understand that your content is not good when you start out. You may think it is.
Yeah.
It's not. Everyone starts out producing the worst content the internet has ever seen. Very, very rarely is there an exception, and there are. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah,
but
I disagree. You're all shit. Yeah. This podcast is on episode 6. It's still shit. I can't wait for episode 106 when we look back at this and go, "These guys are idiots. The layout is terrible. What are you doing?" Yeah.
Yeah. We know we know we could always be doing better, and you know, we self-reflect on our videos and in our content all the time. If you are not your own greatest critic, you're doing something.
Yeah, 100%. It's just one of those things that you just sit there and you have to watch your own VOD for 3 hours. And if someone goes, you know, if you cannot watch your own voice, you know, or listen to your own voice or look at your own content and actually be entertained for 3 hours, then guess what? Someone who's looking at you for 2 minutes ain't going to be fucking entertained. They're not going to watch you. Or you know, you swear, or you've got a bunch of friends that say, you know, bigoted stuff. You know, sure, you're allowed. Of course, you're allowed to go through all of those things. It's just that if you're also expecting to be featured on the platform,
exactly,
it's not going to work out. So I think some people just have to kind of accept that that's it.
I mean, yeah, I think like because we mentioned like, you know, swearing a lot, being bigoted, that sort of thing. And when I say being bigoted, like it may be in a joking manner. You might be just, you know, random. It's like, you know, you think to people like Soviet Womble, you think like Fitz, and that
Misfit crew,
the Misfit crew, they are some of the least brand friendly people you will ever meet.
Yeah,
but they made it work because they were always improving their content. Fitz and Soviet Womble in particular personified the funny subtitle editing style that we have all come to know and love.
Yeah. But they're not going to be put on Grassroots ANZ Twitch front page because they're not brand friendly. They're just on the content and on that popularity because that's the content they make and that's what people enjoy.
Exactly. And their hard work alone, without the help of the platform, in fact, the platforms they're on probably don't help them at all because they probably demonetize half this.
It could be the case, yeah.
It could very well be the case.
Constant shit fighting with that type of stuff, I'm sure. So
exactly.
So that's why they've got to do ad campaigns for stuff. Well, some of them do. I'm not talking those ones specifically, but yeah.
The point is, yes, ANZ Grassroots is tough to get into, but you should always be using it as an opportunity to reflect on your content going in the long run and working out where you can improve, which is not going to back you if you don't have that strong brand and that strong setup going.
Those people that complain and stuff, you just know that they're not doing that market research. And, if you are and you're still shit, then fine, that's on you. But maybe just not entertaining. But, those people that complain, that it's completely self-centered without being self-aware. They're not going to the people and actually checking out their content. They're not going and sitting through and be like, okay, what is this person doing that makes them able to be on Grassroots? And I feel like those programs are usually helping those people to be bumped up from 50 to 60 to the 75 potentially for that partnership stuff. But it'd be really interesting to see if those people actually are going to watch those channels and be like, okay, are they actually doing something that is actually going to be positive for their brand, for their content? I've made a topic for future topics to discuss on this about creating your brand and how sometimes it's by accident. Because I know a lot of brands and things that happen when they're starting out is they're just a guy who plays video games, and then something happens in the community or on a stream, and then now that's your brand. That's just the thing you do.
Kind of like with my streams when I invited Tibbsy on for the first time and it just got way too fucky.
Yeah, exactly. And that was funny. It was entertaining.
Yeah. Chonkler incident.
Yeah. That was it. I did what was it? The Rockefeller Street dance once, and then that became a follower song, and everyone was happy listening to that every single time. So it's fun. It all happens randomly. A lot of the time, you can go in trying to create your brand. So that's something I want to probably talk about.
That'll be a good discussion for us in the future. Yeah,
fleshing that kind of out and going with the flow with that type of stuff. But I guess onto your point before, one thing you don't need when you're starting content is an XLR microphone and a DAC and a green screen and an Elgato Wave, whatever, and every Elgato product under the sun. You fucking idiot. Yeah.
No. You see, Kochie, clearly behind the closed doors of the Grassroots program, little tick box somewhere that says you have a Shure SN7B microphone. You don't have that. Clearly.
Get the fuck out. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a popular stream without one? Didn't think so, motherfucker. Checkmate.
Didn't think so. Checkmate, atheists.
Checkmate, atheists. Explain this.
God damn it.
Do you want to introduce why we're going on about this?
I mean, it's one of those shit takes that wouldn't have been a problem if the wrong people didn't pick it up, right? But there's a tweet that got 17.4 million views. Which I've just seen that number now. It's blown my mind.
What the funniest part about it is that you've got 10k likes on here, which I don't know where that's come from.
No idea.
And then 5,000 quote tweets. You done fucked up when you've got a 50% retention on fucking quote tweets to likes. That is bad.
So the tweet is what we're going through from some VTuber manager or whatever that says, if you're all in caps, by the way, so you know that they're serious.
And with danger sign emoji.
Danger signs and a thread ready to go. If you're buying a microphone and are starting out with making content, please stop buying USB microphones. Period. Especially Yetis. So just Yetis in general is just, which we don't have, but I've used in the past, right? So that was my first mic that I got. There's a solid chance that you want to turn this into a career. This is the thread. And you need to make sure that you are making investments on your most important thing, which is audio, which I agree. Audio is very much more important than video. I understand that most of you you don't want to or can't break the bank. So that's why I highly advise you save up before starting. if you're going for USB and want to throw this list out the window, then make sure you get a Shure MV7. It's $250. This is US, by the way.
Yeah, US.
And you can upgrade with an XLR setup when you're ready, since it does both. And then the mic arm. And then I understand why you shouldn't want to go to XLR because of the initial cost being high. And then you need an audio interface. I recommend this audio interface. And it's, one of the generic ones that a lot of the main people have, which is the Focusrite Scarlett. Then, on top of that, you have to get a good arm.
Yep.
And it just goes on, just recommending a bunch of stuff, which I'm going to guess has some kind of affiliate link in them so that people can go check them out. Because, of course, they fucking do. I don't want to load different stuff.
Looks like it's
lovely. And then, at the end of it, it goes, I understand that people like their USB microphones, and I'll expand on the microphone into different tiers, including stuff for USBs for different budgets. And if I have to start over and the USB mic was the option, I'd go with the Elgato Wave 3, which is the mic you have, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which, good microphone, still fucking expensive.
It's a premium USB mic.
Yeah. So that's the entire take. The best part about this, they do not say why.
No, they don't.
There is no shred of evidence. There is no reasoning behind why. Even just, doesn't even need to be audio engineers. I don't care. People, audiophiles. There's just nothing. It just says don't do it.
There are videos out there from the likes of Harris Heller literally taking a USB mic, sensor mic, and editing them together to make them sound identical. Like, it's possible. USB mics are perfectly fucking fine.
Yep.
Yes, the XLR is good to have. Yes, it potentially improves the quality a little bit and takes the next level. Like, I wouldn't take a USB microphone onto a live studio stage audience, belt out a song. But in the world of streaming, where audio compression is a thing and where, quality compression is a fucking thing, USB mics are perfectly fine. They are perfectly fine. And this whole take is just gatekeeper central. It's like, unless you are rich, don't stream.
Don't stream. You need to be saving your pennies. And then it just goes behind that whole thing we've said, and I've said probably outside the potty before. It's just like, yes, you need to make sure you have a green screen. You get you got to get the highest. You got a Logitech Brio. You got to get a full big camera.
Yep.
I got a mirrorless 4/3 camera. You need one of these. You need a full capture card for that setup. You need an XLR microphone. You need studio level lighting. You need make sure you've got lighting. Your lighting in the background. You need to get what is it? The nano leaves. You need to get nano leaves in the background right there. I could just put some nano leaves. I'm not a real stream. Oh man.
Oh fuck.
So the internet collectively had a field day with this.
It was bad.
Which I just thought was funny, and a lot of people were basically just, well, I bought this. I started out like this. But again, I don't think a lot of people discovered, just record to him to be like, why? Where's the evidence? It's just frustrating.
Painful as hell, man. And as you said, the internet had a fucking field day. And, obviously, the most common streamer microphone is the Shure SM7B. It's not a requirement at all. You can run I started out with a headset microphone for all of my content. Can I go back and listen to that now? Fuck no.
No.
Absolutely not. I hated it. But
hey, what's up, guys? This is Kamikaze78 here.
Oh, what's up, guys? Coming here with some more content today. Yeah, exactly. But then I fucking, then I upgraded to a guess what? A Blue Yeti, because cheap. Well, it was affordable. It was, and I didn't even have a mount for it. I desk mounted. It was on a stand. On my
hate
desk.
that.
So every time I click, you felt the reverberation straight away. Yeah, no, Kochie would not have enjoyed 2016
Yucky.
streaming Cami.
No.
But the point being is that, you upgrade incrementally. And I agree with this person. audio is the most important upgrade.
That was the one
100%.
point which I 100% agree with.
Yeah, exactly. They are right in that. But you do not need to start out with an XLR microphone with a big fuck off interface to make that happen. We are talking $1,000 setup at that point once you're done with all the fees. You do not need to go that far. All you need is a USB microphone with a $20 mount, and you're cheering, absolutely cheering.
Yeah. We do have these things. Like I've got my Rode PSA1, I've got my Audio-Technica AT2020 USB microphone, but I also earn a decent living, and this is a hobby of mine that I want to put money into, and I've been doing it for a while. So why the fuck not? Like, it's this. You're telling these people if you're starting out, you've never streamed before, you're just starting out in your content creation journey, and you need to put $1,000 in.
No, not how it works. That's
disingenuous.
Not a good investment. It's not, and it's really reckless to make that recommendation. Really reckless, because there are a lot of impressionable people out there trying to make this streaming thing a career. And again, I'm pretty sure those are affiliate links there. Those products.
Yep.
It just of gatekeeping and trying to make a profit off of people's ambition in the long run.
And we talked about last episode as well about, even if people are trying to make it into a career at this point, you're kind of an idiot. Because you're literally 1 in a million, even if you do stream for 30 days out of a quarter. You're literally 1 in a million. But maybe people got good brands, but it's just having the idea that yes, you're going to do it and turn it into a career is going to be very interesting. But it's yes, audio is the most important thing. There are people who made partner, people who have made careers and had the shittiest video possible. There are people who have no camera whatsoever. They streamed at 480p and got, to the point where they were able to provide amazing content and then upgraded their stuff. But it's just like, it was such a shitty take that the internet collectively went, fucking what?
It was impressive. I bagged on it as well, I'm pretty sure. Correctly.
You're going through the quote tweets were quite funny. And there's people even just re-quote tweeting it now.
Yeah, it's still going on.
And this is best part coming from a VTuber manager as well, right? Like this person who is like, okay, so now on top of that, so the perspective there is obviously audio is very important, but you've got to be a VTuber, right? So this person is managing VTubers, which these things fucking cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get models rigged up and everything. You can do a little PNG tuber thing in Paint. I can make a little smiley and be like, I'm a VTuber now. But yay. But if they're looking at that kind of stuff, it's like, well, they need to have a model and they need to have rigging and animation and interactions and stuff. It's it's ridiculous. I think I started on the headset mic as well, which was the what was it? Sennheiser Game 1 headset or something like that.
Jesus. I had the Plantronic 780.
Oh yeah. Was that the boxy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crustiest audio known to man coming out of that microphone. And it worked. Go back to my very first videos, you'll find it. But as I was saying, like you can turn don't do that. You can turn any microphone, especially a USB one, into an equally good sounding experience that would come from an XLR. 100%.
It's about filtering. It's about, especially in live as well. It's not like you can chuck it into Audacity and chuck some filters on it. The good part of the discussion, I feel like, came from with these audio engineers who are like, shut the fuck up, first of all. But second, here's how you make your mic sound good. And there's like actually showed off the filters that they use. And something that a lot of people may not know is that in your mic settings in OBS, you need to make sure you have them in the correct order. You put your noise gate first, then your noise suppression, and then your compressor, so that the filtered noise doesn't have to work twice, because a lot of people say that they put all these filters on and they sound really quiet and really muffled. And usually it's because they've got them on the wrong order. So like your ordering matters for that kind of stuff. So, and
even just adding a little bit of EQ goes a long way as well in just giving your voice a little bit more depth.
And that can help a lot of people. You're not going to see these people in person, right? So it's all about the personification of like whatever you're projecting onto the screen. So if you don't like the sound of your voice and you want a deeper voice, then you can change it.
Give yourself a deeper voice. It exists in Audacity. It exists in OBS with plugins. You can do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah. And there's people, we all sound different anyway. There's always as we said before, the compression of stuff. It's going to be the audio that gets compressed, your bit rates, your things like that. It's still going to sound different. But
without question.
Yeah. You just change it and say, oh, well, it's disingenuous. It's like, well, so?
Welcome to the internet.
People put makeup on stream and then come and stream. What's your point?
Yeah.
You're personifying a character or yourself, or the best version of yourself for those 3 hours. Like, if you, especially in such a competitive world as it is, I was trying to understand this take. Like, it was really bugging me, and the only way I can understand it is kind of like the job market, right? Like back then, back in the day. Yeah, I know that it's a really weird. I'll get there. Back in the day, in job market, you could, I think we talked about this before, but you could walk into a company and you could say, I want a job. And they'd be like, awesome, you start Monday. And nowadays you need like a PhD and a bachelor and 40 years of experience, even though you're 18 years old and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
That's what it used to be like. And streaming and content creation back in the day used to be like that. You could be Cami with no camera, a headset microphone, a terrible setup, and you could stream. And
XQC still does it this way.
Yeah, exactly.
My mate's still got a webcam camera and
fucking Tyler One with his Logitech, screaming headphone mic, right?
Perfect example. Old mate running the goddamn Logitech C920 with a fucking Logitech headset.
Cheapest thing there, but he does it because of the content. But so the only way I could understand this take was that you need to have the best equipment possible so that you have the best chance so that people don't leave immediately. Which is still also a shit take. It's still a shit take. This is the only way I can understand it. If like there's a higher barrier to people feel like there's a higher barrier to entry when it comes to streaming or content creation in general. I for my videos and stuff, in your videos, like we script out stuff. Back then we didn't need to. There was a lot of people that just started rambling on some Call of Duty footage, and now they're big successful YouTubers. You did that now, would that be successful? No. So there's a higher barrier to entry in terms of the content. And so if I can think about this take in the best light possible, which is not my opinion, and it's just me trying to understand the other point's point, which is part of the whole discussion, is that nowadays there may just be a higher barrier entry to start streaming, to be one of those 1 in a million people.
But the problem, no, I take your point, and when I started streaming, not streaming, but video making and streaming, I guess my video quality sucked. I had no noise suppression on my microphone because I didn't know you could do it. I was streaming off of a 4G iPad, so the connection was rough as hell. Like there's so many imperfections that come from starting a stream off the bat. And if you here's another problem I have with this take. A huge problem. Right? You're talking about the keywords that really piss me off is before you start streaming.
Not goals.
Before you even fucking hit the go live button, you need to invest $1,000 goddamn dollars into a microphone setup that you may never ever use again. We saw it in the stats last week, last podcast, right? The majority of people stream once on Twitch and fuck off straight away. The majority.
Yep.
I guarantee you, having a Shure SM7B with a ton of audio equipment is not going to immediately bring more people into your stream that then encourage you to stick around. It is reckless with your money. You're just being reckless with your money at that point.
Yes.
So, that for one really annoys me. But it also, you're going to learn how you can improve over time just by doing it, and by gaking yourself out of getting into streaming earlier and of the right microphone. Apparently, you're not spending that time perfecting your visual quality or perfecting your brand or getting your channel set up in the first place. You're not doing any of that, which means that when you finally do have the audio quality there, finally do have the for sure, and you sound like the greatest. You sound like the greatest thing. Morgan Freeman's voice. You're lacking all the other elements that get you there. We both agree that audio is the most important thing, but it's not the only thing. It's far from the only thing that gets you there to having a good stream.
Yeah.
Like just practicing your audience interaction, practicing your chat, just practicing the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
This is stuff money cannot buy.
People are just sometimes not entertaining. They can't talk to themselves for 3 hours because that's what you're going to have to do when you start streaming. And there's just I want to be some kind of like stream coach, I think, where I'm like, I'm sitting here listening and watching your stream and you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Why am I watching you do nothing?
Exactly. And and if you don't spend that time practicing that, for sure the microphone is not going to get you there. Like you're still going to be a boring as fuck person to watch. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So, this whole notion of you should not start streaming before you have this microphone set up is just the most backwards logic I've ever seen.
Yep. And also specifically Yetis. Yetis just got a bad rap. And yeah, there are so many good brands out there for microphones these days, and it's just Yeti. So if you got a Snowball, which is the cheaper version of that microphone, that's fine.
Just the
Yeti, which
fuck off Yeti.
Fuck off.
But if you have the Yeti Pro or the better Yeti,
or the pink one, I don't know. Yeah. No, you got to get Shure. Shure is the best. You got to need Shure. Meanwhile, they won't set up their audio properly, and they'll sit at the back like this on a condenser microphone and not do anything properly with it. Like they'll just think they can just plug it in, and they need to know how it all works.
They'll have it right next to it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
With the clickiest motherfucking Razer keyboard, which is what I have.
And MX Blues, man.
The MX Green. Well, these are Razer Green Switch,
licky
so they
fucks.
are licky as hell. But yeah, it's like such a dumb take.
Yeah, it was, and it was good to see, like, the internet collectively went, what the fuck. Which I think is good. So good work on the internet, I think, for doing that.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I think and this is the problem. Like you defend the Yeti, and then it's like, well, you've got a personal connection to it, so of course you're going to defend the microphone that you bought. But
I tell you what, that microphone also brought me a ton of success on the YouTube platform. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was my first purchase as well. Like went from a headset and then got I got the microphone, I got a Yeti, and I think I got it secondhand. I didn't buy it new. I got it secondhand from somebody else. Which actually, that's a good point. All these people that are buying $1,000 worth of hardware and then have like stopped streaming after like 2 streams. Just let me know. I'll buy the stuff off you for like half the price. So
yeah, you go and make the bad decisions. I'll just profit off of you.
I'll just make it half the price for me, because that's what you see. You get these people that buy these things. And I had a discussion with someone on Team OC about it, and they're like, "Oh, I want to get a mirrorless 4/3 camera for my streaming." And I looked at it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, there were like 200, 300 followers," and I was kind of like, "Why?" Like, I don't know what they were running. I think they were just running on like a Microsoft Stream Cam or Logitech Stream Cam, whatever it was.
Sure.
I was like, that camera's fine. Like, it's fine. You don't need anything. You don't have.
They were a gameplay streamer, right? Just not naming names. Yeah, cool. So your camera space is literally taking up less than a 1/9 of the screen.
Yeah, little screen down here.
Yeah.
And
no one is going to be able to tell who isn't like, like, again, it's all about scaling your investment to your return on investment, right? And I get it. If you're doing it just for fun, well, if you're doing it just for fun, you shouldn't be buying a fucking camera of that scale anyway. I'm sorry. That is a bad financial
And if you're not going into photography or trying to do like recording for YouTube videos, if it's just a streaming camera, I mean, look, we're not going to tell you to spend your money, but like, if you've got disposable income, go fuck nuts. But if you don't, no.
exactly.
It's not
And,
going to make
like,
you suddenly famous. It doesn't matter.
I wouldn't have bought this camera here
Hmm.
that I'm using right now. This is a $2,200 rig plus the cables and the all of the mounting stuff I've got for it on the desk.
Hmm.
$2,200 rig. I would not have bought that had I not intend on using it for vlogging as well, because it's a vlogging camera too, and a damn good one at that.
Yeah.
But
And it's all still being pumped through Discord through our calls. So there's always that compression. So you're not getting the full thing anyway. At least with mine, I get the raw capture through my capture card, so it's fine. You just end up looking blurry. And Twitch, if you're doing a live stream on Twitch specifically, you've got a maximum of 6,000. I got there in the end. 6,000 kilobytes per second. So if you're playing a high action game, and I used to do this, and I played Rocket League for a while there on stream, or Siege, and if you have to get all of the high action gameplay through a 6,000 kbps pipe constantly, which is not going to make your things look good.
No.
And it's going to sacrifice an artifact constantly. And a better camera doesn't make that better. In fact, it makes it, I would say, worse. Because it's higher quality.
Yeah, exactly. You've got more pixels in the camera than taking up that precious bit rate. So yeah, like, again, all good with making that investment in the long run, but it needs to be one that's backed with some degree of return on investment, I think.
Yeah.
For me at least. Even on my 12,000 kilobit upload on YouTube, great light. Even then, there'll be times the camera doesn't look at sharpest. There's a lot going on the screen. There's a lot of information being pumped through that bit rate. It's tough to manage, 100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you could like get it out of focus and forget to switch the settings properly, or and whatever, or you could just. And then again, it's for gaming streamers. Like these people, they're like, I'm going to have all the content, and I'm going to put it here. This is where the content is.
This is where the content is. And like if you're doing just chatting stuff, I can understand a little bit more, because that's that's the content at that point. You're running a show, camera quality, fine. But these cameras, these high end cameras, they're not plug and play setup. You're not gonna plug in your Elgato cam link this camera and go, I'm good now. No, you need to set up the ISO. You need to set up the aperture. You need to set up
your lighting and everything.
The focus, the lighting, everything. These are not these cameras are not easy, and there are settings in there that help you set up automatically, but for the best possible result, it's not something that you just immediately go, all right, it's on now, we're done. Like, even just last week, I realized that my camera was on the wrong shooting mode, which was badly impacting my fucking performance on my camera. And my streams look like really, really bad. So
it's difficult to go back as well. Like, once you've upgraded, like, again, when I look at the streaming as a hobby, it's meant to be those incremental upgrades, and you can take that and apply it to every other hobby possible. Music hobbies, videography, you've got sports, you've got whatever. You don't go and buy the best thing straight away. You need to see if you actually like the thing. You have to see if you actually want to continue doing this thing for 3, 6, 12 months, which of course, as you said from the Commander Root stats, a lot of people don't. So if we see even like 10% of those people spend $1,000 on hardware, like, it's just a waste of money at that point.
It really is. And with the cameras too, on top of that, the lens. More often than not, you need a new lens. On top of that, what to look for? No, more often than not, it requires a lot of market research. It requires a lot of time, money, and sometimes that's not. And again, got that disposable income to drop immediately, then go for it. Like, that's your prerogative.
That's it. I was like, well, I've got disposable income. I'm going to drop $500 on a camera and all that because I wanted to, and I could. So again, if anyone wants to do that, go nuts. It's just like, well, make sure you have that income. Don't be like, I'm going to use this for streaming, and then just have a camera sit in your cupboard for 2 years after you stop streaming for a month.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you, one thing that depreciates big time, you have it off the lot for the first time, is cars and cameras.
Cars and cameras. Yep.
Yep. They as soon as they come out of the box, selling it for anywhere near the regular value.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just one of those technologies that keeps upgrading very quickly, and new lenses come out and things that they have proprietary stuff as well. So, or if you get a new model, it's might not be compatible with the old model.
Yeah,
You know, it's not plug and play like a USB.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I mean, I started out with no face cam. Then I bought a Logitech C920. And I had the most ugly stream background one could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Then I bought a Razer Kiyo and an Elgato green screen, which is, and you could still because the lighting wasn't that great, and I had LED top downs that were lighting the green screen top very nicely, but then didn't do much.
Would
down
be
below.
really shit at the bottom. Yeah,
you got weird artificing down below, exactly. And then I finally upgraded to studio for great lighting and a proper design, but it wasn't like this is over 10 years.
I was about to say, how long have you been doing this though?
Yeah, it's been over 10 years. It's not been a yearly upgrade. This has been okay, my content's finally getting to a point where it's reaching enough people where I can justify that investment.
Yeah.
And I think people need to sort of check that when they're starting out.
I think there's been a constant theme of like a lot of streamers, a lot of content creators really aren't self-aware of the fact that the things that they're doing. And I think with us being Aussies, I think we're just a very self-aware culture to a degree.
100%. 100%.
So that we have that advantage, I think, when it comes to content creation. We can look at our own streams and go, that was fucking shit. Like, and not because I didn't have any engagement, it's because I was tired and I didn't really create good content. And that's okay. You can have off days and things like that. But I think a lot of other communities or maybe other different cultures may not have that, which I guess we're lucky to have a little bit.
The moment you start blaming the algorithm or, the viewers for your lacking return on investment, it's the moment you stop becoming self-aware.
I think on YouTube side of things, there was another topic I wanted to cover at some point, was like how thumbnails and video titles are actually fucking important.
That is what I can go on for hours, I hope you know.
Yes, that's okay. I'll have to direct the discussion. We'll have to break it down into smaller topics, and there are some other really good videos out there that we can definitely chat about. But it's just one of those things that I know we probably harp on a lot, but it is about those incremental upgrades. And I think we both do agree that audio is definitely more important over video.
Yep.
Like I don't care what the gameplay looks like sometimes if I'm listening to a friend of mine and I've got my headphones on and I'm in the kitchen. But if I can't listen, if I don't want to hear that, if their voice, and I don't mean their voice tone or whatever is bad, I mean if their voice quality is crackly, they've got a fan in the background, their dog is barking, that type of stuff, I can't listen to that. That bugs me, and I would rather listen to something I can pleasantly listen to.
And more often not in the streaming space, the content is not the gameplay. The content is
should be the person. Yeah.
It should be the person. Yeah, it should be you interacting with the game. And when I say that, I mean like your reactions to it, your banter with your friends, all that stuff. The only exception rule I think is like tournament environments or like environments where you're exceptionally skilled and the benefit is that you're an amazing player of this game. That's when there's more leeway to you sort of being focusing on the visual side of your stream. But then again, that's not a camera upgrade. That's just making sure you're streaming at the right kilobits per second.
That's it. Yeah, there's like the technology limitation there, rather than you could have the best whatever, but if it's still being put through like 6K pipe, it's still going to be it still could be choppy and shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly right.
But we've got people nowadays, that are still at the top of their game and they stream without a camera. There's that whole do you need a camera? Do you don't need a camera? And then the whole rise of the VTuber things as well. That's probably a topic for another day, and maybe get a VTuber on here to discuss that whole thing, because
that could be interesting.
That could be interesting. And I've got a few friends that do that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I guess it can be seen as a bit of a higher barrier to entry with those things. I guess.
Without question. Yeah, without question.
But don't buy an XLR mic. Just don't. Like, create content for 5 to 10 years and then do that. All right.
I even to be quite frank, as somebody who has been creating content for a long ass time, with the way my microphone, with the way my microphone sounds and with the content I actually produce, I don't ever see myself hitting. Quite frankly,
no.
I just don't see it happening. What my Wave microphone does, the software side of things, the actual output it produces, you don't need the upgrade. I never thought I have.
No.
But apparently I'm doing it wrong. So.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Little
Start
high
again,
school
mate.
year,
Start again.
high school Cami should have gone straight to his nearest store and bought a Shure SM7B while he was unemployed in high school, no money. Tell mum and dad, hey, I need your credit card. Sorry.
Green screen it up. Get some Elgato key lights while you're at it.
Yeah,
Make sure you buy a bunch of plushies or some lighting, some nano leaves in the background.
Don't forget about the Elgato foot pedal, because that's clearly a part.
The fuck is that? No,
that's a thing. There's an Elgato foot pedal.
Oh, you need a Stream Deck as well. If you don't have a Maxim XLR Stream Deck, you need one of those.
And you need the Go XLR as well.
Oh yes, you need the audio interface so you can like switch between all your stuff on top of the DAC that you already have.
The DSLR, you need forget mirrors. Just go full DSLR camera as well.
Yep. Elgato foot pedal.
You're gonna have a heart attack when you see this.
Oh, why? A Stream Deck pedal. Streamline your power setup.
I really wish. Yeah. Obviously, guys, you need the most elaborate streaming setup you possibly have. Fuck it, go for 2 cameras while you're at it. Why not?
Yeah, get some back and forth action. Yeah.
Standing desk.
Yeah. Sit stand desk as well. They won't do anything, but you can help yourself out with it. A lot of the stuff, I think there's no barrier to entry when it comes to streaming. You can have the shittiest quality microphone. You can have no camera. You can have default stream elements notifications when somebody follows and that little zombie walks across the screen or whatever it is. Have all of that stuff, because at the end of the day, you're hopefully doing something that you enjoy. If you're not, then having a better camera or a better microphone isn't going to fucking fix that.
Fuck all for you, exactly.
Sweet FA. I'm still hating this foot pedal. What does it even do?
And on that note...
Yeah. Oh, you can mute your mic, you can toggle cameras. So instead of reaching out and pressing something, you can just do it with your foot.
Yeah.
Huh.
You live out your drummer fantasy while you're playing games.
Yeah. Okay, this is what we need. We need the Elden Ring speed run with an Elgato foot pedal. I saw DDR. We need a foot pedal.
God. You know what? Don't put that energy into the first cost. It will happen.
Challenge accepted.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we had. I mean, yeah, I feel that there is a higher barrier to entry for that successful side of things, but
yeah,
and and that's still a shit take. But at the end of the day, you don't need any of that. It's just increases your chances, which again, it's still not a good take to have. It's just,
no, it's not. It's just dumb. It's really stupid across the board.
Run your headset microphone. Just start doing it if you want to do it, and no one will watch you. And the best thing you can do is get your friends into things and get them to watch, because 5 viewers is going to put you a hell of a lot higher than 1 viewer or no viewers. Because you scroll through Twitch, when you're bored on a Sunday night or something, and you scroll through, and then especially in particular categories, which is very popular, like Valorant or League of Legends, you get Fortnite, thousands. Fortnite, you get all these 1,000, and then you get 10,000, you get thousands, you get 500, you get 100. You keep scrolling just because you want to see what the difference is between other quality.
I've never done that.
I just like to see it sometimes. I just get bored. I just doom scroll all the time on Twitch.
I
doom scroll on Twitch, and then you go and watch these small streamers and stuff. And why not? It's sometimes it's fun to. I don't laugh at them, but it's just you look at them and you're like, okay, so you really want to do this, okay? And you can't even get 5 friends to sit on in your stream. Okay. I don't know. Some of these guys are super entertaining, obviously. There's diamonds in the rough everywhere, and Twitch has a lot of rough. But, you need to try and give yourself every kind of avenue that you can without going down illegal or, frowned upon methods. Yeah,
exactly.
But just start. Just if you feel like you just want to play some games with your friends and you're sitting there, you may as well stream anyway. Just fucking do it. Why not?
Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
Gosh, do it.
Do it.
Speaking of doing things, subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Like the video. Subscribe
Yes.
to Cami. What has Cami
Yeah,
got
don't.
going up? Yeah, don't
No, don't do that.
unsubscribe from Cami. Got it.
Unsubscribe from me. No.
What do you got coming
Honestly,
up, mate?
that's a good question. I've got some Planet Side 2 content in the works at the moment, which doing begrudgingly. No, I'll be fine.
It is Planet Side
also-
2, so understandable.
Yeah. Also, would like to get onto a BattleBit playtest this week if I can. Would love to test out the new Little Birds that have come out, but we will see. And I also want to do a video going back to Battlefield 4.
Battlefield 4. Mm.
Bit of a throwback to a good Battlefield game.
I remember those back in the day when I loved the
Yeah.
series and it consumed my entire life.
Yeah,
Good times.
Back when games were games.
Games were games and not premium subscription services.
Yeah, exactly. What about yourself, Kochie? What have you got coming up this week?
I'm going to be reviewing Deliver Us Mars, which is a sequel to Deliver Us the Moon, which is like a space exploration kind of puzzle solvey atmospheric type game. So I've got a code for that, which I get to go through, and maybe, depending on when this comes out, maybe delve into another review and stuff. I kind of want to get the content rolling before TGX as well, just so I've got that there as well. So
yep.
We're almost at 200 subscribs, so
Hey,
get close to that one, and we can push that through. I always like saying like the number that we're close to, because like in 5 years' time, you know, if I keep doing this shit, I can look back and go, wow, I was at that point then, and now I'm now. Or someone goes and watches the old podcast and go, wait, back then they had 200 subs. What the fuck? Yeah, now I've got 300 5 years later. Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go. 50% increase in 5 years. Let's go. I'm gonna make it, guys. We're all gonna make
Time
it.
to buy an XLR mic.
Yeah. Well,
And on
thanks
that
very
note-
much. And on that note, thanks everyone very much for watching. Hope you had a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. And we will see you in 2 weeks or next time, whenever it is. DGX coming soon.
DJ's coming.
Take it easy. Peace.
Thanks all.